This show should be fun, should be zany. Might have to go in and do a few edits. Might get called Nick somewhere in this episode. All sorts of good stuff's going to happen on episode 134 as we have some very special guests joining us. So, let's go. Welcome to Coast2Coast Pinball. My name is Nate Shivers. This is a podcast. It's a commentary. I'm a man out of quarters. Tonight, we will be joined by Charlie Emery of Spooky Pinball LLC, Ben Heckendorn of Ben Heck and Ben Heckendorn and himself, who is the designer of the first Spooky Pinball release, America's Most Haunted. We've had Ben on the show before. Charlie's been on the show via sort of on-site interviews, I believe. I don't think we formally had him on the show before, so it's been too long. It's great to have him tonight. We're gonna talk all about America's Most Haunted, as I've had some time to spend with the game and get to know it. I think that the story of Spooky Pinball and the personalities of Charlie and Ben, he calls me Nick in here, so I'm gonna call him Beck right now. Ben Heck are fantastic and interesting, and I think you're going to enjoy this interview. So without further ado, let's get to it. Welcome back to both of you to Coast2Coast Pinball. We have Charlie Emery and Ben Heckendorn. Gentlemen, how are you doing out there in beautiful, warm, brisk Wisconsin, right? Nice and warm?
I'm Ben Heckendorn, and I can tell you it's snowing here.
Oh, I'm Chuck Emery, and Ben told me to quit my job and start a pinball company, and I listened to him.
How's that working out for you, not Charlie?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you Charlie? Or, no,
I guess
I'll
I'm
be
Charlie.
Me. I'll be me. How's the quitting my job and starting a pinball company thing working? Right now, I'm telling you, things do not suck.
That's great to hear.
That sounds like Steve Ritchie.
Yeah, that's a Steve Ritchie answer.
Well, I'll tell you this about your game. I'm not hating it. It doesn't suck.
I was actually standing next to Steve Ritchie, I believe, when he said that at the Midwest Gaming Classic last year, when he stepped back and said, well, it doesn't suck. This doesn't suck.
It's the highest form of praise from Steve Ritchie.
Well, I wasn't nervous. It was like 2 years. That was almost 2 years ago. Because we had that game at MGC 2013, and it was in the zombie cabinet.
Oh, that confused the living hello out of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I walked back into the room, and I saw Steve Ritchie was playing our game. And I was like, oh. Yeah, so I was... I don't know. I don't know if I was nervous, but...
He was nervous.
I don't usually get nervous.
He was like a little schoolgirl. Oh, Steve Ritchie is playing my game! Oh!
That's like when Andrew met me.
Yeah, that too.
That was actually when we first met. Oh, maybe we could tell that story.
No. Let Nate take over.
I think...
We're taking over Nate's show.
No, I fully expected that.
I wanted to hear the history.
Oh, okay.
But when Charlie told me you guys were going to be together at the same time to come on the show, I believe my reply to Charlie was, yeah, oh boy, but yeah, we'll do it that way. It'll be great. What could possibly go wrong?
We're not together, you know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
So, I guess for people who don't know, which if you're listening to episode whatever this is of Coast2Coast Pinball 134, you probably do know, this is Ben Heckendorn, who is the brains and designer and artist and programmer of America's Most Haunted, and Charlie Emery, owner of Spooky Pinball LLC, the host of Spooky Pinball Podcast, who has built America's Most Haunted and will be building more games for Spooky Pinball LLC in the near future, joining us here. And we wanted to tell the story. I wanted to ask some questions that I have here and kind of get into America's Most Haunted. I'm sitting right next to my America's Most Haunted. It is flashing my high scores, which are relatively high scores. And so it's sort of a thank you to you guys for making this game that I'm enjoying so much, and also to shout out to the rooftops to the people who might be interested in the game. This game's great, and we want to talk about it. So, thank you guys for coming on tonight.
Thank you for your kind words regarding our game.
It's great. I love it. I went back on Pinside and looked at a post from about 2 years ago, and the post is entitled, "So the Spooky Pinball Podcast are now making spooky pinball machines!" and it said it's official, and it was actually referencing the Pinball Zombies from Beyond the Grave game. At the time, it claimed J-Pop, Nordman, and Heck are involved, and speculation ran wild. I believe somebody even said, "You've got to be kidding me, right? How many dreams can pre-orders try and prop up," or something like that. And here we are, a couple years later. There's games in California. There's games into Canada now. What's the ride been like for you two?
Anything that can go wrong will.
Yeah.
It's been a hell of a lot of work. I'm
Yes,
just
however much work you think it might be to make a pinball machine.
quintuple it.
Yeah, think high and double it.
No, it's more than double. Honestly, I can't do anything without Ben, especially on America's Most Haunted. I mean, we're becoming a little bit more self-reliant, but that doesn't mean I want him to go away anytime soon. Right, Ben? We're trying to drag Ben into game number 2. Can we make an announcement?
Yeah, by all means.
2 dots on my game.
Excellent.
Right?
Yeah, I'll help with some stuff. I'm not going to
Okay.
debug the whole thing.
No.
That's so difficult. It's ridiculous.
We've actually hired a programmer,
Excellent.
which is like something that normal pinball companies do, but it's something that we definitely don't take for granted. And Ben's still here helping us, and that's like uberly important to our survival. But what was the question again?
I just
Benton, and we're in the middle of a huge snowstorm, and we're getting kind of fried. But what was the question again?
I'd love to just know what it's like to kind of see games leaving your building and think when you quit your job, when you were, just a lowly man working for a printing company, as they might say, and now you're kind of one of the only people in the world building pinball machines. Do you step back yet and say, "Wow, look at what we did to get here"?
It's hard to divorce yourself from the process.
Yeah.
When you're so intimately involved with the construction of something, it's really hard to sit back and see the forest for the trees. Chuck dropped off, the house AMH that you made out of garbage.
Yeah, any part that was broken, scratched, or dented, and we couldn't put it in a customer's game, we turned into one Franken game and took it up to Ben's place. So
Yeah, and I'm working on, I had to do some bug fixes and improve the ball search. And I'm also adding some stuff like the Psychic. Psychic, if you spell it, it'll enable 20 seconds of double scoring. Tech will improve your ball save timer. Wiki will do something. Just basically adding some more functionality to some underutilized targets. Anyway, but I had the game sitting there in my shop and I was playing it. And I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. Like, especially if you get like Minion multi-ball stacked with Elevator multi-ball. And I'm like, yeah, I forgot. This game can be fun. And I used to be into indie film, and I'll probably get back into it eventually someday. And it takes years and years, but if you look back on it after much time has passed, and you can like look at it for what it was, like as a movie or as a podcast or as a script or as a game, and you can look, if you've forgotten enough about it, you can look at it from a fresh perspective. And I think we're still a little too close to the actual production of America's Most Haunted to really step back from it, especially Chuck, because Chuck is building them every day, and my work with it is mostly done.
I can honestly tell you, every single game that leaves that shop, I am a nervous wreck. I take every one of them way too personally. I expect everything to be just absolutely flawless, and to have that kind of an expectation this early on is a little unrealistic. I can count on, I mean, I'm just being honest, I can count on one hand the number of games I haven't gotten at least one email or phone call on saying some little thing happened, and, it's just stuff we need to improve on. Maybe it's the art kind of guy in me that you never feel you're officially done with anything.
Right.
You just want to keep making it better.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to let things go, otherwise they never get done.
Right. And, honestly...
And by sometimes, I mean always.
If we sat and we just waited until, okay, absolutely, everything we do is flawless, we still wouldn't be shipping games. So...
Ben Burt, the famous editor and sound designer who did
Star
Wars and now he's at Pixar, his phrase was, movies aren't completed, they escape. And
That's great.
Really, any project is like that. one example was I was like, oh yeah, Chuck, let's put these individual lights in the back box, and one can be behind the crystal ball, and one can be in the lightning, and we'll have all this back box animation. And I mean, we have there's a support for a lot more GI on the board than the game actually uses. And Chuck's like, no, let's just double up the RGB strips and put them in the back box, and they'll just be synced to the ones in the cabinet. And it was like the dead simplest solution. And then I'm like, wow, this is really cool. This looks great. You were right.
It's funny. That was one of the first things, because I had played the game a few times at different shows. And when you're at a show, you're not totally focused, and you're kind of trying to take as much of it in as you can. And one of the first things when I got the game set up in my place and turned it on that I noticed was through the different modes, or very specifically when you tilt the game, the back box turns bright red on you, and the game shifts colors through the modes and through the tilt. And it's kind of brilliant in its simplicity. The first time I opened up the back box and saw how you did that, I almost thought, wow, why isn't anybody else doing it like this? Which now I see on WrestleMania, Stern sort of is doing something like that. Did you guys find little ideas like that along the way where you thought, wow, I've been this pinball junkie. I love this art form and this platform of gaming, and I just figured out a really cool way to do something that maybe nobody's done before.
Well, Ben tends to look at it like, hey, we could do this, 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 and this. And I tend to look at it like, hey, I got to do this 150 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Paul had an idea for a gizmo for...
Paul's our wiring guru.
Yeah, he's like, let's do this in the next game. And I'm like, well, that would require this many servos and this many gears and blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like trickle-down BS with these mechanics. It's like, Paul will say something, and I'll be like, well, here's why that is not the best idea. And then I'll say something, and Chuck will say, here's why this is not the best idea. So
I go into Gary Stern mode, and I'm like, you just added $150 to the bill of materials.
Well, yeah, you costed out 2 coils really early on in the game.
Yeah.
At one point, Nick, we had... Nate, sorry.
It's all right. It's all
Yeah,
right. I think last time we saw each other, you didn't even remember who I was, so I'll take Nick.
Don't take it personally. I don't remember who anyone is.
I don't.
Anyway...
he called me Chad earlier.
Originally, if you did the left orbit, it would go behind the elevator like it does now, and then it would actually loop down, and actually there was where it says like jump balcony to advanced theater?
Yes.
That used to be a VUK that would actually make the ball hit the ghost.
For no apparent reason.
Yeah. And then so it required a post stop behind the elevator to direct the ball, and then the VUK. And that was actually in the game 2 years ago at MGC. The game was pretty much the same as it is now.
Yeah, we had tape over it so the ball couldn't get in there because it didn't work.
And we're like, this sucks. It doesn't work well, and it slows down the game, it slows down the flow, and it's 2 coils that we can get rid of. So Chuck's like, I'm costing it out.
That's great. I like it. When you designed the game, Ben, and we probably did this on a podcast before.
Wait, don't you want to hear the story about how Chuck and I met?
Do I want to hear that? Yeah, I do want to hear that.
Who wants to hear the story?
Haven't we told this story before?
You don't interview enough people, Chuck. This is the kind of things people want to hear.
Holy crap.
What?
Ben Heck's like kicking my ass on Coast2Coast Pinball. Like you don't do that enough.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty bad.
Okay, I'll put my question on pause. How'd you guys meet?
Oh, well, let me tell you. It was at MGC 2011, right? And I didn't know who these guys were. And I was at the show, and I was at the after party, like where you're staying late and playing the games. And this really drunk...
Not me.
Yeah, and the first thing I thought, do you ever play the Elder Scrolls games? Are you familiar with those? The video games?
Yeah, I know what they are. Don't play them. But...
So Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, you'd find this guy, and he'd be like, wow, you're the greatest fighter in the arena. Can I follow you around? And anyway, this kid walks up to me, and he looks just like that guy, but with different hair color. And I'm like, oh, this guy looks like that guy from the video game Oblivion. I mean, this is always what I think. As soon as I meet someone, I immediately, if I see someone at McDonald's, I'm like, oh, look, it's fat J.K. Simmons. I'll think things like that. Anyway, and he's like, oh my God, you're Ben Heck. I love you, man. Can I hug you? It's not weird, right? Blah, blah, blah.
Again, not me.
Yeah. And so, but then I'm like, who is this guy? But, whatever. Anyway, then it turns out this really drunken guy, he was hanging out with this other guy who was Chuck, I guess. And Chuck's like, I don't know who the hell you are, but my friend Andrew here sure thinks you're cool. And I'm like, that's okay. I don't care if you know who I am. You don't have to. Anyway, but then Chuck's like, check this out. And he had his custom Godzilla game. Right?
Yep.
He's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, cool. You guys made a game. This looks really good. And he's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, yeah, just nodding my head. And he's like, we direct printed the playfield. And I'm like, what? I got really interested. And then Chuck was like, hey, this was back when it was a Firepower 2, and they didn't have any custom speech. And you remember you were like, hey, could you help us put custom speech in it?
Well, in all fairness, the same drunken kid that was like in idle mode built a soundboard for that game, and I think it caught on fire.
Oh, very good.
So anyway, I'm like, yeah, stop by, and then you guys came by the shop, and we built a soundboard like in an afternoon, right? It's still in there, isn't it?
Yeah, actually it is.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but I think
it works
pretty good. Yeah, and we basically sniffed the switch matrices, and it basically assigned certain switch hits with sound and music.
Okay, here's how we really met. I was following said drunken young man into Ben Heck's booth, had no idea who Ben Heck was, and Ben Heck said, oh, you're the guy with that cool custom print game upstairs. I need to be friends with you.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the same story, isn't it?
I think it's just perspective more than anything that changes in that story.
I don't think I was even that drunk at that point.
No, you weren't.
No.
Not at all.
Oh, that's because I was so goddamn tired. Yeah, that was when we were working on that stupid Lost game, and I was so...
No, that was way before. That was still Paxton.
Oh, no, 2011?
I was there for the whole
early 2000. No, that show, we had that thing. It was still at Whitewood, but yeah,
okay.
March 2011, we had that.
Well, I know it looked like...
Because remember, that was when Jerry Ellsworth came to the show with us.
Yeah!
Yep. And she had the roller skates on during the after party, and Joe Balser was following around like a little lost puppy. Jerry's like, I'm not tall enough. I need to put on roller skates.
Now. Is he aware of these comments?
He's like, what are you guys talking about? Yeah, yeah, I guess that's what happened. Okay, that's if you combine those two stories.
Somewhere is the truth right in the middle, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, and then anyway, we became friends, and Andrew was helping me design the Lost game, which sucked. But eventually Chuck's like, hey, I'm going to start my own company, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're crazy. And
yeah, Ben said, you need to quit your job and build my game. That is exactly what happened.
Actually, no, you were like, I'm going to make this Pinball Zombie game. And they're like, well, I've been designing this Ghost game for a year already. It was a lot further along.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, why don't you do this so you'll have something
By this,
sooner?
he means quit your job.
Quit your job and build my game first.
After you burn that bridge.
So, Charlie, was that a difficult decision where, I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to start my company, I'm going to be a pinball manufacturer, and I'm going to build my game, my vision. What was the decision like when Ben said, hey, I've got this Ghost game at the time, I guess it was Ghost Squad.
Still a better name.
Still a better name, clearly. No, just kidding. What was that decision like to say, yeah, well, let's go with that one. Let's go with your game first. How did that go down?
It was the logical thing to do, number one. And, I mean, I wouldn't have quit my job at the time I did if Ben hadn't been as far along as he was. So, it was terrifying, and it still in a lot of ways is. But I'm glad I did it.
Has America's Most Haunted, Charlie, from when you first saw what Ben was working on to what you're now shipping out the door, has there been any, you talked about the one change with the vertical up kicker, has there been any other shifts and changes in the way you originally envisioned it to what's actually shipping now?
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, my biggest part of this entire job was to take what Ben had designed, and I don't think Ben would kick my ass for saying this.
I did a lot of things wrong.
He's very good at building one of something, but if you have to turn it into 150 of something, well, that kind of fell on me to reverse engineer a lot of the stuff that Ben had done. Ben didn't have anything in CAD, so I had to get all the metal laser cut. He had a lot of parts done in wood and plastic, which looked absolutely beautiful. The original version of the balcony and the The elevator in wood looked beautiful, but everything broke quickly in the prototype stages. So obviously that's not going to hold up for production.
And
so.
I didn't use the right kind of posts for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So Chuck had to take what I did and kind of build it in the correct way for a pinball.
And there's still a lot of stuff that really is technically not correct, but we did what we had to do to make Ben's design work. Had I been there from day one, Ben, do you disagree?
I wish you would have been, because
Yeah.
you know way more about pinball than I do. But what was I going to say?
So I'm good for him, and he's good for us.
And, your zombie game is a lot more standard in how you put all the parts together, which is good. So it'll be more straightforward to make when you rebrand it or whatever.
Whatever we're doing.
Whatever you might be doing, ...
One more thing. I just want to put in one more thing. So, yeah, I started... Well, I'll tell you, so we did that fan fiction Lost Pinball based off the TV show, and it didn't shoot well at all, and we're like, screw this game, let's rip it apart. But we kept the Evangeline Lilly artwork. Although, coincidentally, about 2 years later, someone from Bad Robot contacted me, and they're like, hey, do you still have that? That'd be cool for our office. And I'm like, we tore it apart. And I was like, I want to...
We saw the final episode and broke it the next day.
Yeah, that night.
No, actually, we built that after the show was done. But then, so it was Expo 2011, and we were at Terry's eating all this food and buying parts, and he's like, haha, I'm selling parts, and whatever. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to spend all this time making a pinball machine, I need to make something unlicensed that I can sell. You know, it has to be worth the time that it takes. And at the time, what were the two themes I was going to do? Oh, gosh. Well, one of them, of course, was Bible Adventures. And the other one was...
Tesla versus Edison.
Tesla versus Edison was another one.
Which I made you a back glass for.
Yeah. I wouldn't make that game now, because I don't think it would sell, knowing what I do now. The other one was Ghost Squad. And we'd done a parody episode for our Ben Heck show that was like a ghost hunting parody for Halloween. And I'm like, that could be a good premise. Like, there hasn't been a spooky, ghost, macabre pinball in a long time. And, most people are familiar with these ghost hunting TV shows. And my thing was like, women like those shows. And I'm like, maybe this could be wife-friendly. I don't know if that really has bore fruit. But it's certainly ripe for parody.
No. My wife loves the Bar Ghost and her death scene on America's Most Haunted. Absolutely is that wife-friendly.
So,
the Bar Ghost. That's my wife being loved by your wife.
Exactly. Wait, whoa.
Different thing, I think.
A second.
Videotape that.
Family-friendly show here.
I think that, having a game with ultra-realistic ghost boob physics is important in this modern day and age.
Could not agree more.
Of course, we call her Ghost Whore. But
Ben calls her that. I do not.
The script says Ghost Whore, but the game doesn't. And there's so many times I had to make sure I didn't actually put that in the game.
Katie calls her the soiled dove.
The soiled dove. There you go.
It was hard coming up. I felt like I was writing a Willie Nelson song, like trying to come up with words for prostitute that weren't prostitute. Like soiled dove of the evening star of the night queen.
Wow, this is going to be the worst episode of Coast to Coast ever.
Or the best, depending on perspective.
Anyway,
I don't know that there's implied money changing hands in the Bar Ghost mode in the game. I didn't see anything about money. I thought she was just really friendly.
Well, most of what your wife hit the nail on the head. She was Elizabeth Bathory. That's who she was kind of based off. It was two things. It was based off Bobby Mackey's Music World, which is this haunted honky-tonk bar in Tennessee or someplace, where there's this well in the basement where satanic rituals took place 100 years ago, and Elizabeth Bathory, who is this countess who would kill maidens and bathe in their blood to stay beautiful. Although it's hypothesized now that, what was it, her husband was rich, or basically she was vilified so they could get her money. Like they could say, oh, she's a witch, so they could get her riches or something.
Oh, and a little known fact, the bartender ghost, we at the time wanted our buddy Joe Balser to be the voice of the bartender ghost, but due to...
no, the bartender wasn't a ghost. He was just a bartender.
Well, yeah, he was the bartender telling you about telling you about the female ghost. But Joe couldn't. He wasn't comfortable doing that at that time.
But if we ever we had an idea for a follow-up game if this, became successful or a cult classic. It was like basically America's most weird, like looking around for like Bigfoot, skunk ape, Lake Champlain monster, Jersey Devil, and obviously if we had a Jersey Devil, we'd.
Oh man, no!
What?
Oh god!
What else would a Jersey
Ask
Devil
another
sound like?
question, Dave.
I'm just letting you see how far you guys will go with it.
I'm saying nothing but nothing.
Okay, let me just finish up the thought. So I started working on a Whitewood in early 2012. I had most of the script written by the end of 2012, and 2000. So I had been working the game for almost a year when Chuck started his company, which is one of the reasons why we got a game out pretty quickly.
I spent a year basically sitting in Spooky Pinball's headquarters by myself, doing nothing but CAD and kind of reverse engineering everything Ben did to make it manufacturable.
And I spent about a year sitting in my spare bedroom programming. So I guess we're even.
And he still continues to this day.
Yeah, that's. I will say something, and Chuck will hate this because I'm going to comment on another pinball company.
Uh-oh.
But it is a lot easier to build a game than it is to program one. And that's all I'll say.
Okay.
It's true.
So, I guess that's one of the stories that's sort of developing in our little pinball hobbying world as you guys have, shipped, literally dozens of games now. You guys are able to support this almost in real time. Ben's on the forum asking for questions on, tell me what's going on. I'm emailing back and forth to Charlie, just making sure I know what's going on with the game. And Ben has reacted by doing updates. There was one before Christmas. I know you guys have said there's one coming out soonish, before Texas, I believe. And that is, the epitome of not only did you guys beat a lot of other companies to the punch as far as shipping games, companies that had announced independent-built games before you, but you're also sitting there with a full fleshed-out code at ship time that you're updating very quickly.
Code in the game, you can get to it.
I'll never get to it. I'm trying so hard.
I can't get to it.
Yeah, I can beat like maybe 2 or 3 ghosts. I'm not that great of a pinball player.
I've gotten 3 ghosts one time. That's where I've gotten.
The thing is, we knew
you're almost halfway there.
I think they say never read the comments, but I think it's important actually. Like I've never Googled myself. I don't care about that kind of stuff. But I do follow comments on Pinside like a hawk because there is good information there. It's not all negative. You can learn a lot of things, and nobody knows everything. Like I had Hilton Y Snow on Pinside, who is kind of opinionated, but he came over one day and he gave me all these fantastic ideas for tournament mode. He's like, oh yeah, the tournament mode, when you get the random award, it should, instead of being random, it should give you the awards, but in a certain sequence. That way it's fair to all the players. It should de-randomize certain things like, the hotel ghost where you have to find the light switch or whatever.
And it jumps around to different shots.
Yeah. If you're tournament mode, it's always the third shot that you make.
That makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, so it basically de-randomizes a bunch of things. So anyway, if I had just said, oh, the Hilton, blah, 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 if I hadn't listened to him at all, we wouldn't have this great tournament mode. Or also, if you set the game to tournament mode, if you're in a track mode, if you tap either flipper button, it'll jump immediately to the last 4 scores and stay there for 20 seconds so you can write them down.
Very handy for tournaments.
Yeah, so you can't... I think it's important to take advice. And as far as... I'm trolling Pinside anyway. I mean, I'm my own boss. I can do whatever the hell I want at work as long as everything gets done. So, oh yeah, I troll it. Why not? And I like to leave trolly comments, too.
How do you guys react to seeing, like, this is your heart and soul for the last couple of years, and there are people on websites, and not just Pinside, but on any website that get the veil of anonymity sort of goes to their head, and they can lash out and say things, because I've read comments, I've had emails from people who thought I was being too gracious to the game and said, oh, I think this game is amateur, or this or that, and then you ask them, well, where did you play it? They go, oh, I didn't play it, I saw a video on the internet. And they have no idea. What's that like? Is that as tough as I would think that would be to read, or can you blow that off?
Voice work is pretty decent. I know that's what the main thing people bitch about, but I think for having a bunch of amateurs, I think we did a pretty good job, and my writing is good. The writing is better than the voice work, but we also didn't spend $50,000 on voice work. We put that money into the game.
I think the whole voice work thing, personally, from where I'm standing, got super blown out of control early on when people heard tiny bits of call-outs and didn't understand what was going on and didn't understand the idea of the theme and the angle of the theme, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And a few people said a few things that other people just ran with. I have no problem. I mean, I would sit here and tell I do have some issues with some of the artwork. I do. I think there's some artwork that was like, this could have been redone and been done better. This looks like...
The playfield should have brighter colors, for instance.
Sure, there are some things there that I would...
There's you can tell us about the game that we don't realize, but it's like, at a certain point it has to be, it is what it is.
But the call-out thing, I just thought was ridiculous once I actually got some time with the game, because it's very clearly tongue-in-cheek all the way through. It has a better spread of call-outs.
Don't understand cheesiness. It's really we find that with our Ben Heck show. We'll do a skit and people are like, "Oh, you guys aren't good actors." They'll say things like, "It's like we're not trying to be." It's astounding. Some people just do not understand cheesiness, which I think is why we've gone from like fun movies like Spider-Man to every superhero being dark and alcoholic and depressed because everything has to be somber. No one understands camp anymore. Like I don't even know if a show like Mystery Science Theater would work in this day and age. As I say, Chuck's awesome robots here. The one thing, Chuck, what was that comment you got recently about dialogue?
Nothing. I don't know what he's talking about. The views and opinions expressed by Benjamin Heckendorn do not necessarily represent those of Spooky Pinball LLC.
Okay, one thing I thought for sure people would complain about is when it's like, ghost photo hunt. Shoot the flashing targets to collect 3 ghost photos. And it's meant to sound like those games where they didn't have enough ROM.
Yeah, and you just cut the numbers into the sentences. Yeah.
And I thought for sure someone would complain about that. No one's ever complained about that.
I think, I stood next to Teresa the first time she heard that, and she laughed out loud. She thought that was really funny, because it's pretty obvious what's going on there. Yeah.
Okay, I could go on all night about this, but Chuck's like, oh no. But the thing is, okay, here's the thing. It's an original theme, and it's telling its own story, so it needs dialogue to support the story so you know what's going on. Medieval Madness does not need that much story because it's just a Monty Python ripoff. You already understand it. You don't need it spelled out for you. But this, we have to set up who the ghosts are so you understand the jokes. Like, oh, he's a cannibal, so if he wants to eat the hippie vegan, that's funny. You have to set that up. It's like setup and payoff. It's like a joke. It's like a movie.
Yeah.
And we need more dialogue. Yes, it has too much dialogue. We definitely should have had less.
Shorter lines.
Yes, definitely.
Shorter lines.
There's like 250 pages of script for that damn game.
Well, I know because I've played 400 games on it, and every once in a while I still go, I've never heard that before. How did I miss that?
Every line in the game has at least 3 versions of itself, even if it's just the way the words are arranged. So, just to keep it fresh, so you don't hear the same things over and over and over. The other thing I was going to say was, if you look at the Williams games from like the late 90s, those are all original themes, and it was also when their sales started to slide, and I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that probably had something to do with it. Obviously, the industry in general was in decline. And what was I going to say? Oh, yes. And they were cheesy, too. They're completely cheesy. And people accept it because so much time has passed. Like, oh, I like this. It's like we must build an atomic blaster, and that stuff is not good acting. It's cheesy acting. And yeah, maybe the voices are done more professionally with better enunciation than we do. But, I think it's in the same ballpark. I firmly stand by our dialogue that I wrote and selfishly defend.
Let me ask you something about the dots in the animations on the DMD. You have an interesting mix of sort of photorealistic, scans into dots that play out. And when I say that, I'm thinking of some of the scenes with the crew and the audio operator. Yeah. And then the next scene, maybe one of the ghosts or like the theater with the clearly just very simply done closed sign hanging on the theater. You have this interesting mix of what I would say is intentionally done crude artwork. Yeah. And then photorealistic. How did that all come together?
Well, the ghosts are fake and the people are real, or the humans are. Okay, we had this comment. I don't know. This wasn't from a customer, Chuck, so you can't berate me for this. Someone said, "Why aren't the ghosts scarier?" Like they want some sort of like translucent, highly detailed thing from Ghostbusters, and like you can't display that on a DMD. You have very limited resolution, so I had to make the ghost really cartoony. Like, oh look, that's a ghost. It looks like a cartoon ghost, and you can only do so much with 128 by 32. So yes, the ghosts were made cartoony because they're like, they're the humor reference, and also they're not real. Whereas yes, we had like photographs. You remember when we had that backlash that everyone hated with the photographs on it?
I do.
We took a ton of photos when we did that, and I used a lot of those photos as a scan to people in the game. And again, it's pixelated enough that you can't tell it's not the same people from the current drawn backlash. Yeah, as far as line drawings in the background, like anytime there was like text, like groupies or groupies welcome or whatever it says, or bottomless pit. You definitely have to do that as pixel art to make it legible.
Gotcha. What role did 3D printing for both you guys play into this game? Because there are parts on a production game, on a pinball game, I guess for the first time now, that are kind of, I'm guessing, small batch 3D printed, whereas that traditionally would have been injection molded parts. And I'm talking about the Ghost and the roll through lanes and maybe some other parts. How did that happen, and how's that helped you?
Flat out, Ben started the 3D printing end of it for me with his prototype games. All his prototype parts. He was the one that introduced me to 3D printing. But from the manufacturing side, if we had couldn't even. Oh my god! Yeah, that game would cost what Wizard of Oz or Lebowski does, because we couldn't. A very basic injection mold can run $15,000 for a small piece, and
Wow.
Trust me, I have looked into it, and we're trying to find more cost-effective ways to do some injection molding, because there's just some areas we feel that you can't live without it.
Yeah,
but at the same time, 3D printing it's a huge reason why that game exists at all.
Yeah.
And for people that say, well, that's cheesy, or what am I going to do for parts 20 years down the road? As long as
20 years down the road when everyone has a 3D printer in their kitchen.
As long as those files exist and Ben's got them on his website for free, you can download those things and make parts forever.
And people they've made their own ghosts, they've made additional ghosts, they've scaled them down.
People are changing the color of the ghosts.
Yeah.
They're changing colors of the. I've had a guy say that, can I have the file for the door? He wanted to make his own door in a different color. I'm like, absolutely, here you go. And
yeah, you can go on my website and download everything.
And we'll always keep the parts or the files on hand. So as long as we still have 3D printers, you're always going to be able to get a replacement part for your game.
It is slower, though. I mean,
it is.
Like between us, what do we have? Like 3 3D printers? Well, I have 3, but I only use one.
I have one, and I have another one on the way.
Did you order that Chinese one?
I did.
Good. No, they work really well.
This is riveting information.
I have three other friends that have that. Man, I know so many people with 3D printers now. I think I was at the forefront of. Did Papa Duke get one before I did?
No, I think you introduced him to it too.
Yeah, he got
at the same
hooked.
time. Yep.
Well, he's really good at the SolidWorks, so I figured one of those things like if he saw a 3D printer and realized what it could do, he would immediately buy one. He bought one and immediately bought another one. I saw a really good quote on a website once. It's like, if you don't know what you would do with a 3D printer, then you don't need one.
Yes.
Which is to say, if you do know what you would do with it, you have one already.
Exactly. As soon as you can afford one, you've gotten one.
Yeah, I usually tell people if you could, you can get ones that are pretty inexpensive. Actually, I'm like, if you have any idea of what you might want to do with it, just buy it. Don't think, just do it. I think that's what I told Papa Duke. Don't even think about it. Just whip out your credit card right now. Do it.
Get in there.
But yeah, there are. I mean, like the Ghost takes about 3 hours to print. So if you only have one printer, it could take you like what?
Ours runs about 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that is a limitation.
Every day.
The Ghost, I don't even think you could even injection mold the Ghost because he's hollow. You'd have to do some sort of like rotational resin cast for him.
Man at Back Alley could do it.
Yeah. Just have him do it.
So Ben, I have to ask you this because you may not even remember this, but we were sitting at the bar at the Midwest Gaming Classic last year.
Wait, Ben was at a bar?
Yeah,
this
not buying
could
this.
be
I'm not
anybody I've
buying
ever
this.
met.
That's
But
really the news headline here, is that Ben was at the bar.
I think I remember that was I think I remember we were sitting about 3 stools down from the right hand side near the keg.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I asked you...
So talking about MGC, you asked me, I'll show you exactly where we sat. I have this superpower, besides knowing what year every movie came out in my lifetime, I always remember where I sat in bars and restaurants forever.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I could go into like a Red Robin in Seattle and say, that's where I sat 2 years ago.
Do you remember what I asked you, though?
No.
Okay, so I asked you, would you do another game? Would you design and do another game with Charlie down the road? And you were very surprising to me, and we'd talked once on the phone and done the show, but I hadn't met you in person yet. You were very negative on it. You were very much burned out. You said, nope, nobody's going to buy this one. You were bummed.
Was this last year?
Yeah, last year.
Oh, I tell you what, last winter was really, really tough for me to get through this game. Because I'd spent most of 2013 programming, and Chuck had spent it, engineering the parts. But, think about it. Like, I do my normal show stuff and my other engineering work. So I have a full-time job, and then this was a part-time job on top of my full-time job. And so I'd spent about a year of having 2 jobs. Not like Dolly Parton working 9 to 5. Like, there was absolutely no financial reason I needed to do it. I just did it because I wanted to help Chuck for one thing. And then one thing about me, I have a lot of flaws, but I always finish what I start. And they're like, no, we have to make this game. It has to have finished code before we ship it. Like, MGC 2014 was basically the finished game. I think, like, Didio mode was there, but it wasn't, I don't know, you couldn't start it. But MGC 2014, you could have gone to the wizard mode. Everything was there. That was, like, the drop dead date. Chuck started shipping right after that. We knew that, we had the redone art because people didn't like our art in 2013. So at MGC 2014 was do or die. It had to be really good.
And at the time, you really seemed like maybe you had enough of pinball. And I remember something you said to me.
I was just tough. I was completely burned out. And I started rewriting I rewrote the audio video kernel 3 months before the game was released. Fun fact.
Wow.
It's much better now.
You also were skeptical at that point that you were going to sell very many games.
Yeah, because, first of all, when we had that Photoshop art at Expo, which been about 5 months before we talked, people hated it. They were like getting the crosses out and ready to crucify us and the tar and feathers. And, it's like, because, they thought about like the Gottlieb games. I thought it fit the theme, but I was wrong. People want hand-drawn art.
Wait, what was it?
I know. Let me mark the tape for you, Charlie, and I'll get you that. I'll email that over.
47-24 mark. I got it, Nate.
Okay,
already written down.
No problem.
Anyway, I couldn't even tell you how many hours I spent on that damn game. Probably like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours. And yeah, at that point, I had worked all the previous year and all winter getting it done. And yeah, I was completely burnt out. And I'm still kind of burnt out now, although I still want to help Chuck with his next game, not in the same capacity. Well, I don't have to because it's his game that he designed. But, that's why Chuck's looking for a programmer who I can mentor, but yeah.
Did it help to start seeing the reviews of the game come through?
Yeah, your review made me feel really good because you gave it a really great review, and I'm like, wow. It's like maybe it was all worth it in the end. I can step back, and someone who didn't have to sit there troubleshooting every stupid little ball hang up and all this crap that you have to do. Like, you can just play the game for what it is and enjoy it and talk about how much you like it. And I can kind of vicariously appreciate it through you because I can't get around my own filters.
Way too close to it, yeah.
Yeah, Norman always tells me that too. He's, I'm like, Dennis, you don't have any of your games at your house, and he's like, nope. By the time I'm done designing it, I don't even want to look at it. Yep. And I never understood that because like Gomez, he keeps everything. He's got all his games, and I think that's so cool. But Dennis, at this point, I can understand how you can walk away, and it takes me a lot of days too because we're play testing every single game every day, and I worry about everything so much. But when I step back away from it, and like
Yeah.
we go to Lawrence's or something, and we grab a burger here in Benton on Main Street, and we've got our original prototype game, which doesn't even have finished code in it. I can walk up and play the daylights out of that thing, and then I'm having fun. Then I
Yeah.
really like it.
We don't need to get into the exact numbers if you guys don't want to, but I feel like the game has picked up steam as those first, 15 to 20 games sort of got out there and people started talking about them and videos got out there. You guys as a group seem to be very you had a lot of hesitance early on in sort of self-promoting and selling the game, and then I felt like there was a shift.
Right.
Where you guys said, you know what, we need to go sell this thing and let's do a video, and the game's hit, and I felt like for you, and I'm just this third party looking in from out the outside, I feel like it's selling better now and things are moving. Where would you say you're at progress wise? And I know you're going to cap it at 150. How are we doing with America's Most Haunted?
We just asked Katie tonight what
Close
that
to
was.
90, I think.
Yeah, we're right about the 90 mark.
And it's been picking up. It seems like
The more that get out there, the more we sell.
Real games going out the door, being in people's homes that you can have your friend over to play, seems to be our best advertisement. And selling games to people is a lot cheaper than traveling around showing the game to people.
Yes.
And we're just now getting to the point financial. And again, I mean, Ben gets paid for what he does, and I'm sure a lot of the burnout that he was suffering was. You go through.
That's true. I hadn't gotten paid at that
You go through
point.
2 years of just killing yourself for absolutely no reward, and now that the games are leaving, Katie's handing Ben checks every once in a while, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm going to get myself a nice shotgun for Christmas."
That's the thing to say. Like, we don't actually make any money that we can put in our bank accounts. That's our money until a game goes out the door.
Exactly, and I like it that way. I don't ever want to stop that.
But that did make it tough.
Right.
Like when Katie's like, "Hey, do you want me to bring it?" I'm like, "Yeah, bring me a check to Expo," because I think Expo was the first real check. Because the first thing I did with my America's Most Haunted money was it was at MGC, the same MGC where we talked, Nate, last year.
Yep.
And everyone was packing up. And my friend Parker, I don't know if you met him, he designed the board system from Texas. He's like, "Oh, I'm from Houston. I love NASA. I wish I had a space shuttle game, but I flew here, so I can't take this space shuttle that's for sale back home with me." Then he left, and I'm like, I think I should buy this space shuttle to piss off my friend.
So Katie literally walked over and handed Paul Reno was selling the game, handed him a check, and we threw it in the trailer and took it to Ben's shop, and then sent Parker pictures. Wow, look at Ben's new game.
Here I am, such a sucker. I thought I was about to hear the story about Ben buying this game for the guy that he worked with and shipping it to Houston. What a fool I am.
Know me well enough. So anyway, so it was. So that was about 2 years after I started working on the game. Was the first time I spent money on. The first thing I did was I bought
bought a pinball machine.
And you know what? I really like that space shuttle. I like it. Looks so crappy sitting next to my really nice Attack from Mars, but I like it because I can go in there and play short games. My coworkers never play it, but I like it.
I have this game called America's Most Haunted where I can go in and play very short games.
I know. I would. Chuck's zombie game is a lot easier than America's Most Haunted. So.
I got to tell you, I think Charlie said this to me in an email early on when I first got the game set up and was letting him know how things were going. And I said, it's really hard, but I love it. And he said, yeah, I'm worried it's too hard. I'm not worried it's too hard because I leave it on most of the day when I'm at home, and I just almost view it like this challenge for me down at the end of the hallway, staring me in the face like, come on, dude, 54 million is all you've got so far. What else can you do?
I something that happened with that,
That's a good score.
Is, that is good.
That's my high score so far.
You know what I think happened was we designed the game in foam core, and once we started turning things to metal, it got faster. And I think that might be one of the reasons that's difficult, is that there's just a lot of speed to it. And I guess that's something we can think about in the future is, it's like, oh, well, if this shoots well, actually, John Papaduke told me this. He's like, if the game shoots fast or shoots well in foam core and hot glue and duct tape, then it'll shoot really good once it's metal and plastic. But I think in America's Most Haunted, I almost said Ghost Squad, America's Most Haunted's case, it got a little too fast, but that's the thing with the deep code. most games, especially the ones we saw, are going to be home use. They don't want easy games, and they want deep games so they can, get their money's worth.
There's where I'll admit that I am wrong. Because I had totally intended my game to be a bit about scared stiff level. Because those are the kind of games I like, where occasionally I can beat the game. But I think that's, for our market, that's the wrong thinking, and we need to make it definitely a little bit of a deeper rule set.
I think I agree. There's been a shift. I also think there's something just with the basic layout of AMH where it's nothing angle-wise we haven't sort of seen, but the exact layout feels unique to me. The way the ball comes down from some of the orbits and from some of the stand-up targets that you might not mean to hit, but you do often hit, to the flippers and sometimes careening off the slingshots. There is something unique about it that I think takes an adjustment period. And I watched, you were talking about earlier before we came on the air, Josh Sharp. I watched Josh Sharp try and play the game the first time, and I beat him on a game. And I tell him that every time I see him. Hey, remember that time I beat you playing America's Most Haunted? This is one of the top 10 pinball players. So you've got something unique going on there with the layout that I'm not smart enough to diagnose. But I think that bodes well for a home game, like you said, because I think I want to keep this game forever. And I don't
what do you enjoy about it? I guess
I like that I have so many options of what to do. A lot of this game, so Teresa gets on the game and she's just trying to drop the 3-bank target and kill the minion ghost. That's her. Focus.
That's why you put that in. That's the easy thing to do.
She loves it. I'm always, looking at... So if I get in Spirit Guide early and maybe I do light one of the modes, then I'm going to go get that mode, and then I'm going to try and get one of the modes that has... One of the best coding things about the game, I think, is there's 2 modes, I believe, where you can fail and get your ball back. That being the...
Yes, the ghost... The bar ghost and
Doctor.
The hospital ghost.
Yeah, so I will often, depending on where I am with my balls, if I'm on ball 1, I might not go there, but if I'm on ball 3, I will often try and get through one of those modes if available to me, since I know I sort of have a little bit of a second chance in that mode waiting for me.
That took a long time to program that. How does it work?
Yes, and it confused a lot of people.
Yeah. Actually, it was the guy who sold me my space shuttle. He was the guy who had the idea. He's like, hey, that ball's sitting there. Instead of in the Doctor Ghost mode, if you failed while the ball was trapped, it would kick the ball up and then it would just drain it. It wouldn't let you do it. But he's like, what if you gave the player... I mean, you have to feed that ball back down to the habitual anyway. Why don't you give the player the chance to reshoot that? And he was in our shop with Dennis Nordman that day, and I'm like, okay, well, Dennis is here, so let's have him record a few lines for this new mode. I think we had that in the game while they were there. It's like, here's your ball back, you wiener, try again.
Ed Nordman totally ad-libbed a lot of that, too.
Oh, yeah, he was so funny. All the ball comments were all like, stop throwing your balls around.
Yeah, that was all Dennis.
Yeah.
Well, I really like that. And then there's times where if I happen to see that lock is lit real early on, I will start chasing the multi-ball via the elevator lock shots.
Have you ever done a minion multi-ball stacked with elevator multi-ball?
I thought that was possible, and I have not done it yet.
Yeah, the best way to do it is to... the third and ninth minion you defeat gives you minion multi-ball.
Ninth, you say?
Third and ninth.
I'm just kidding. Yes, I knew third. I had no idea the ninth.
Oh, yeah, you can go all the way. You can do 9 different photo hunts. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, so what... How does it... Let me just remember this. Oh, yeah, so the way to do it is... the best way to do it is to start a regular multi-ball, elevator multi-ball, and then start burning through minions, because you can defeat minions while the elevator multi-ball is going on.
That's how I knew it was possible, because sometimes I would get there and there'd be a minions dead or almost dead during the multi-ball.
And we did add into the code... I think it was the last version, so your progress fighting a minion is held. So if you're fighting a minion and you get 2 of 4 hits and you fail, when you come back and relight that same, it's a class 4 minion or whatever, it'll already have 2 hits against it, and then you can finish it. So that was one thing that we added based off feedback. Anyway, so if you have the elevator multi-ball going, and then you get to, it's a class 3 minion, and you hit him 5 times, then it will start minion multi-ball on top of elevator multi-ball. and it will give you up to 4 balls, basically all the balls in the game. And we made it smart, so like if you're down to 2 balls on your elevator multi-ball and you start minion multi-ball, it'll add 2 more balls. If you still have 3 balls, it'll just give you 1. And if you only have 1 ball, then of course you're not in multi-ball anyway, so it would go to minion multi-ball, which would give you 3.
Now, not to get too...
That's complicated stuff to code. It takes a lot of...
I can imagine, and not to get too deep into the rules for people who haven't played the game and don't know what we're talking about, can you start multi-balls inside of modes?
You can in a few modes. Basically, modes that don't explicitly use the elevator, they are eligible. So you can start it inside of... You can start it inside the hospital mode, and also...
The War Fort?
War Fort, yeah, and I believe that's it. Those are the 2, yeah. There might... No, I think those are the only 2. And basically, it's just because those modes don't use the elevator for anything else. It might be possible in the Bar Ghost as well. I really can't remember right off the top of my head. So it's either 2 or 3.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yes, it does work in Bar Ghost mode, yes.
That makes sense. It is deep. That's one of my favorite things about the playing, to kind of swing back to your question, is there's lots of ways to attack the game to try and score and just try and complete everything. Because when I showed Teresa, she got it pretty early on that, I can beat these ghosts. I said, all that does, beating 3 of those lights this one insert down here, which is one of 4 main tasks, and that task right there is all 6 of these tasks. Her head started spinning, and she said, "Are you ever going to be able to do that?" And I said, "Yeah, probably not."
Oh, one strategy. I don't know if you've noticed, the pop bumpers advance the either the Bar Ghost or the War Fort Ghost, and you can select which one it starts. When you push start, hold the left flipper, and it will start with Bar, and hold the right flipper, and it'll start with War Fort.
I had that in my notes to ask you because it seemed random to me, and I didn't know how that happened. Thank you.
I didn't know either.
Or it's random.
I just learned something.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The way to remember it is the Bar Ghost is blue, like Democrats' left flipper. The War Fort Ghost is red, like Republicans' right flipper. That's how I remember things in my brain.
That's excellent.
Anyway, but then if you do that, I suppose you probably also notice when you're in a mode fighting a ghost, the pop bumpers advance the bonus or the jackpot.
Yes.
So once you defeat both the Bar Ghost and the War Fort Ghost, the pop bumpers then don't advance anything except for the bonus. So if you defeat those 2 ghosts first, the pop bumpers will advance the jackpot for most of the game. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. I don't know that I've ever beat those 2 ghosts at once or not. But that
might be one way to do it. So that would basically give you more pop bumper time overall, where the pops are advancing the jackpot instead of War Fort or Bar Ghost. That was awesome.
See how deep we can go with this? That's good.
That was also a mistake, having the pop bumpers advance 2 different modes or jackpots or EVPs. Oh my god, that took a lot of programming.
Okay, explain EVPs to me and to people who may have seen video in the game. Once you have completed a certain modes, then the EVP is the scoring that you'll gain from that.
The pop bumpers are always in one of 3 states. They're either advancing the War Fort, advancing the Bar Ghost, basically like 25 pops, lights Bar Ghost, 25 pops, lights War Fort. So when the game starts, one or the other will be lit, Bar Ghost or War Fort. So hitting the pops advances those. Once it's lit, then the pops will advance EVP. And then if you're in a mode, pops always advance EVP. And then if you complete Bar Ghost, then the pops will be War Fort. And then if you complete War Fort, the pops will just do EVP. So EVP is that thing on ghost shows where they think they hear ghosts over the static or whatever. Electronic voice phenomenon. And basically, going into the pop bumpers will advance your jackpot for when you're fighting the ghost bosses. And also, I think every 10 pops, you get an EVP and you hear like some random ghost voice.
Yes, some creepy. That's actually probably the scariest thing in the game is the ghost voice when you get an EVP.
Yeah, okay, so one of those is a real EVP from a ghost hunt.
You're a real EVP.
Well, allegedly real.
Allegedly, okay.
My sister went on a ghost hunt once with some friends, and she's like, "Yeah, we got this weird recording from our ghost hunt." I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me listen to that." And it's the one that's like, "There's a woman back there." You heard that one before?
I have, yes.
Yeah, that's quote unquote real.
Very cool. Very
And
cool.
I helped her clean up the audio, and I'm like, wow, Curry. My sister's name is Curry for some reason. My mom was like a closet hippie, and I say the worst things.
I went to bed half an hour ago.
Anyway, she's like, yeah, listen to this, and it was like one of her friends. There was like, I don't know, 2 women and a guy, and so it was a girl sitting by herself in a basement, and it sounded like a creepy old man looking at a woman, like, and I was like, wow, that's actually a pretty decent voice. I'm going to totally steal this and put it in my pinball machine and not tell anyone until now.
Excellent. I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, so they don't really do anything. They're just, you just collect so many pops and then you hear a weird ghost voice and get points. But it does increase your jackpot bonus. So the more pops you get, the higher your bonus will be when you hit the ghost at the end of the battles for jackpots.
I have a rule suggestion for you, Mr. Hack.
Let's hear it.
5 EVPs should light extra ball, because I need more extra balls in this game. Desperately.
He's not
bad.
wrong. He's not wrong. That game is so hard it warrants a couple extra balls in there.
It's an extra ball every 2 ghosts, a la Attack from Mars.
Which I love your extra ball animation. I think it's actually very, very
where
good.
It comes out of the grave.
I love it. It's good. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I always thought that Altered Beast game was so awesome.
Sega
even though
Genesis,
it's not good. And it's that Sega game, and the guy's like, "Rise from your grave." You remember that game?
I do. It was the first game I got with my Sega Genesis.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then remember, you'd fight the demon at the end of the stage, and you sound like Elmer Fudd. Welcome to your doom.
Well, and the game had like 4 levels, and I just remember beating it.
It's actually not a very good game.
No.
Anyway, so I always like it when things rise from their grave.
I see.
Anyway, there's so you can get extra balls with enough photo hunts. Also, yeah, you could, if you completed all 6 ghosts, you would get a total of 3 extra balls lit. And I think there's something else that lights it, but I can't remember. Oh, there's a random award. But yeah, the EVP thing is good. We should remember to do that. That's a good suggestion. That's easy to put in.
Cool. All right, so Charlie, this last week or so, following my Facebook feed, I've been seeing a few posts by you that would lead one to believe there's some sort of announcement pending from Spooky Pinball LLC, and I'm not going to ask you what that is, but I'm just going to ask you, it wasn't just the fact that Katie is now full-time in the factory 1 day a week. There's something else coming, if I'm reading through the lines.
Full-time 1 day a week?
Full-time
That's kind
1 day
of
a week?
oxymoron. That's like the Indiana Jones game, Eternal Life for 30 seconds.
For 30 seconds, yes.
Yes, you have eternal life for 30
Junior.
seconds.
Yeah, who's going to save you, Junior?
Yes, KT, we have basically the equivalency of 3 full-time employees, not counting myself or KT at the shop. We've got more part-time help coming in Tuesday, but the important part to me right now is KT is kind of very slowly, gradually, and I don't think her boss listens to this show, migrating to Spooky Pinball because she spends a hell of a lot of time answering questions and dealing with orders, and I mean, she is our one and only handler for all of that stuff. And she's coming into the shop now 1 full day a week. She's setting up inventory systems. Ben's bouncing around, and and that's like hugely important. I mean, the ultimate goal is I kind of look at like Terry and Margaret over at Pinball Life as just how cool that is that they are there, and the family business is honestly the entire family. The kids are there, and I mean mine are as well. So
You're like a farmer.
yeah, exactly. Only instead of detasseling corn all summer, my kids will be building wiring harnesses and doing all that kind of fun stuff.
That's good.
As far as announcing what we're up to, no. Not yet.
But there's something coming.
There's something coming.
Excellent.
And we've been hinting a little bit on our Facebook page and maybe a little bit on our podcast. And I've got a lot of guesses being thrown my way. The more Ben goes on there and might slip here and there and mention something, the more emails I get.
Hey, I haven't said anything that's definitive, but hey, it makes people interested.
It does.
The fact that we can go into that J-pop Alice in Wonderland conversation and completely change the conversation into being about us.
You did that?
Yeah, we had like
Oh
an
my
entire
God.
page where the whole subject changed to like you making a zombie game that people actually wanted.
Wow.
I don't care anymore.
Wow.
But Chuck, it shows that people are interested
The
and they
views and
respect.
opinions
there's-
expressed by Benjamin Heckendorf.
There's no bad press.
There's bad press.
Actually, I can confirm there is bad press, and some of your competitors are in the midst of bad press, and you guys are not. And I'm really happy for you guys. And we're actually probably running up on our time limit here, but I do want to say that congrats on how far it's gotten to, and how far it's come, and how cool the game is, and how. And this probably sounds crazy to you, but from us as a community and from me as a customer, how smooth it has seemingly gone. There haven't been the major hiccups, the major problems. You guys announced you're going to build a game. You showed the game. You listened to feedback. You tweaked the game. You put in a way to buy the game, and then you shipped the game to people.
Part of it probably has been us kind of running under the radar, because our theme.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying our theme isn't for everybody. So if we were a larger company with like, oh my God, Predator, Big Lebowski, whatever title people want, I think they get more attention, and thus they're held to a higher scrutiny, or at least they're scrutinized more. Does that make any sense?
Well, I had seen a comment, and I do read Pinside as well, not nearly to the extent that Ben does. But I had seen a comment where somebody had posted that basically on paper, Spooky Pinball seemed the least likely to succeed, and I thought, you know what? I can't argue with that. What did we have going for us that anybody else didn't have us beat as far as money or the number of people involved?
I think the fact that we were the underdogs made us work harder. And
Well,
ultimately, that's what gets a game out the door.
and the fact
not
that-
like White Russians and bikini parties.
That was fun, though.
Yes,
I'm glad we got invited to that.
but you know what? Like other pinball companies might be like the tall, rich, attractive doctor, and we're like Patton Oswalt.
I don't even know what to say.
Well, like it's like we kind of have to we had to work harder for it. We had to fight for every inch, and I think that might have helped. Like strength through adversity or creativity through adversity.
Well, in all honesty, Ben kind of discouraged me from leaving my job of 20 years that was, giving me a healthy living for my family. But I knew damn well that if I didn't, we would never get it done. I mean, we'd be sitting nights and weekends for the next 5 years. So it was either you believe in, and Ben, I believe in you, damn it.
Sounds
God,
like a Disney
it's
movie.
so cheesy. Well, you wouldn't say damn
I
it.
believe in you.
You wouldn't say
Peter.
damn it in a Disney movie. But no, I mean, I believed in the people that we had, and I knew that I don't give up. And like Ben says, he finishes everything. He just does.
I think it's interesting. I had mentioned in a show a few weeks ago about how the timing of a lot of the independent companies that have come out in the last few years has been interesting, whereas some who hit it early, I think, got the advantage early on and maybe were able to capitalize on pre-order money just because you had this kind of growing community of pinball collectors and players who were very open to something that just wasn't Stern. Nothing against Stern, but just something new and different. And then you fast forward to 2015 now, and there's a lot of companies building games, a lot of people looking for pre-order money. And I think I said at one point you'd have to be crazy right now to try and jump into that, but I thought about it more. I kind of think if you build a good game and a game people want, there may not be a bad time. And what's your thoughts? You've been in it a few years. Would you do it today?
I think, well, Ben and I both agree that the original theme idea is an insanely tough sell from day one.
Yeah,
period.
it's
the
like,
fact that America's Most Haunted is doing as well as it is, to me, is mind-boggling, because there were months where I was really scared. Really, really scared.
It started off really slow.
It was.
It's what's the analogy? Oh, okay. It's like women saying they don't care how tall a guy is or how big his, but they do care.
Oh my god.
It's the same thing with unlicensed teams. People can say that they want unlicensed teams so they're blue in the face. But when the rubber hits the road and the cash is on the line, they all secretly want licensed teams.
I all secretly won out of this interview.
I think what it really is this, and I'll let you guys go after this. But I think more.
But you know what? But our game, it's like the woman who like, hey, this guy has a lot of money or he's funny, and we're giving him a chance, and those are our buyers, and we are happy for them.
I think it's this. If you show a licensed theme, you instantly buy yourself goodwill with a certain percentage of the potential customer base. And you have some people
It's something familiar, and I understand that.
And the rules, too, it's like, oh, Lord of the Rings, I have to destroy the ring. Oh, look, Predator, I have to kill the Predator.
Sure.
I have to be an unemployed loser. I mean, yeah, people understand. They know the rules already because they've seen the property.
But people judge some of these games, and I can verify this by some of the games that we've seen money be thrown at. It was thrown at it based on literally just the name of the theme. No gameplay, no video, no layout. Just I will buy this game if it's made. Well, what if it's
take my money?
What if it's a flat board with 2 flippers and no targets? Well, but it's a Ghostbusters game. Of course, I'll buy it. As soon as you say, I'm going to build a theme based on ghost hunters, the first thing everybody says is, oh, well, I need to play that. Like, I can't, I'm not buying that. I have to play it. So now you're instantly judged on
we had to succeed at our game strengths, not our licenses.
Yes, your game has to be really good, and you don't get that early goodwill.
Which is why we had to work extra hard to make sure the game was good. We're like, hey, we're not going to get the benefit of the doubt like Predator will. Our game has to be good because we don't have a license. And I believe that was the same problem that Wrath of Olympus had. Greek mythology is a great theme for a game, but ultimately people wouldn't consider it a licensed game. If it was God of War, it probably would have, gone over like gangbusters. And again, people can say they don't care, but they do. And I know that sounds inflammatory, but it's the truth.
I think they do, especially for new in box. And I would
love a Futurama game. I'd love to make a Futurama game. It's a license. It's just better. Or like the Tesla versus Edison thing. I would never make that game now because I know it wouldn't sell. I would never take the time on it.
Last time you were on the show, you were talking about doing the Bible Adventures game. Do we have any update?
Talking about Bible Adventures?
The thing about Bible Adventures is it's not because I'm religious or anything, but everyone has heard those stories, and they translate really well to pinball rules. It started out as a joke. We were like, what would be the most ridiculous theme for a pinball? And we had all these ideas, and we came apart. Oh, well, let's do a pinball.
By we mean him.
It was me, Andrew, and Jones. And we're like, let's do something based off the Bible. And we're like, oh, that's ridiculous. But then they're like, wait a minute. You've got like 7 sins, 40 days, 7 cows.
Everything's number based.
10 plagues. Yes. And
I've heard this discussion.
We started thinking about it, and it's so easy to make rules based off of that. But it wouldn't sell. So I would, if I had like unlimited time and money, I would do it just to piss people off. Because I think it would make a fantastic pinball game, but I don't think it would sell very well, even though it would be a great game.
You may be right. Charlie, I'm going to let you off the hook now. I really want to thank you guys for spending some time on a Saturday night here, the last night of January, first morning of February. There should be a new episode of Spooky Pinball hitting my podcast player soon, right?
Well, I should have put it up an hour ago, but I was talking to
Busy. This is my secret plan, is to get everybody on the night their show goes up and disrupt their RSS feeds.
Here in California, we're in the middle of a huge snowstorm in Wisconsin, so technically it's Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday now.
Well, there you go. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Thank you for building this game. I wish you the best of luck. I think that this game, 5 or 6 or 7 years from now, we're all going to be looking back going, wow, look at that first game they built, and probably look at what that game's worth and how many people wish they had jumped on it when they could have.
Oh, I should buy one.
You should buy one. You guys should buy one of these. They're good. So,
the views and opinions expressed by Benjamin Heckendorn do not necessarily represent those of Spooky Pinball LLC, Coast to Coast Pinball, or right-thinking people
3
anywhere.
times he denied my name.
I saw that.
Oh, it's right back to Bible Adventures again.
Are you guys going to be driving to the Texas Pinball Festival in March together, like in the car the whole way, or are you flying?
Ben's flying. KT and I are driving. We've already got 2 games sold that we have to take there. So
excellent.
Hey, I had this great idea, and then they're going to bring back an empty trailer.
They don't fit in the overhead, so
yeah. So my plan is, my friend from Texas is going to be there. Like, hey, we should buy another space shuttle
and then bring it back
Take
to
it out of
Wisconsin.
That's all. That's all. The show's over. I have to kill it. That
would be the
That's
greatest
excellent.
thing ever.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon down the road. And I'll see you guys in Texas. I think that's just about everything that I could have expected out of Charlie and Ben on one Skype line from a snowy, cold, brutally wintry Wisconsin. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That's episode 134 of Coast to Coast Pinball. I will, I'm sure, talk to you again real soon. Take care.
The ghost was a soiled dove of the night, jealous of younger women. She'd murder them and bathe in their blood for eternal beauty.
I've tried that. It totally doesn't work.